So we were lucky this morning to hear for the first time publicly from the lead designer at Samsung, and now we're fortunate again in that this is the first time anyone from the Alibaba group who's got a senior role in design has spoken publicly. And I know you're on your way to South by Southwest, but are going to give us a little preview of what you want to talk about with regard to design at Alibaba Group and especially at Ant Financial. Tell us a little bit, just to start out with, about yourself and your own background.
Yeah, I grew up in China, but after college I went to the Bay Area. I spent 11 years there. Before I went back to China again, I was the lead designer for Yahoo.com. And then I built the largest design team for Microsoft in China, Beijing. And 3 years ago, I joined Alibaba. And right now, I'm the design director for Alipay.
It's amazing. So tell us a little bit about your role there and how big your team is.
My team currently is about 70 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and including user researcher, industrial designers, user experience designers, and branding designers.
Huh. Yeah. So we have been throwing around numbers about the size of design teams at other companies. You know, the two names that came up a lot, IBM with about 1,600 designers, Samsung, a kind of comparable number. We think those are possibly the two largest design teams in the world, but Alibaba group-wide, how many designers?
Group-wide, like under Alibaba umbrella, there are more than 1,600 designers.
More than 1,600, so you're right up there as well. And is it growing? How fast?
It's growing very fast. I think when I joined 3 years ago, it's about a couple of hundred.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you've been at the forefront of cashless cities. And the concept of going cashless is really taking off in China. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Do you think the rest of the world is going to adopt that technology? And how is it different in China than elsewhere?
Yeah, cashless city, you can understand it's a cashless city, right? I live in Hangzhou, where Alibaba's headquarters is, and I haven't really touched my wallet for maybe 1 year, except once or twice I need to get my ID card out of my wallet. And so when it comes to design, when you're designing a cashless city, you really need to pay a lot of attention to this market. Like China is a massive market. Like the gap between the rural and the poor, the rural area and the urban area is still huge. So I often encourage my designers to think about how you can bring equal opportunities to everyone. If you can...
Can we click back, maybe?
Yeah,
one? There we go.
Yeah. So one example, like the personal QR code, you all know about this QR code. A couple of years ago, when I was still in the Bay Area, I remember people said, QR code is dead, right? But in China, this is a very innovative way to provide equal opportunities to everyone. Whether you are a street food seller or a grocery store owner, or like the one in the lower right corner, he's a 76-year-old laborer in Chongqing. He used to carry a lot of cash with him. But with this personal QR code, which he applied online for only like 50 cents, and a really higher quality personal QR code, and anyone can scan his QR code and pay him within seconds, without all the cash and...
So Chongqing, a very hilly city, so they have a lot of these guys with these sticks on their backs who will carry your bags up and down the hills for you. And that's how they make their living. They're like kind of porters in a way.
Yeah,
so
thank you for explaining that for me.
All the coins around on him all the time.
Right.
He just, you know, puts... Now, I have seen, no kidding, beggars on the streets in Beijing that use QR codes rather than begging bowls, right?
And there are stories about... I think there are at least a dozen news about thieves and... When they got caught, they complained about, okay, nobody brings cash anymore. Like I robbed 3 stores and I only got like $200. Yeah.
So China, I think, you know, we often think that when it's technology and the internet and that sort of thing, the American, you know, system is way out in front. But there are things going on in China right now that are clearly way more advanced than that are happening in the United States. So how does design come into play with that? I mean, how do you, what's the role of the designer in that kind of advanced world?
Yeah, if you could...
You click the next one here?
Click to the next one. Like I just explained, it's a cashless city, meaning wherever you go, You don't need to bring your wallet, and whether it's in a hospital, parking lot, public transportation. So my designers actually are using service design technology, methodology to connect with users on every single touch point. They literally created hundreds of user journey maps, design SOP guidelines, online and offline design frameworks to better connect with our users. So I know there used to be this trend like 20 years ago in the world, like a lot of designers, traditional designers, graphic designers, industrial designers, they all want to change their occupation from to web designers, right? In China, especially in China, a couple of years ago, it's a trend. And to be honest, first of all, it pays more.
Yeah.
And second of all, it seems there's less and less demand for those designers. But on the contrary, when we are connecting people, connecting them from online world to the offline world, there are more and more demands for those skill sets. So right now, actually, we require our users, our designers, not just to have the traditional like visual interaction or prototyping skills. They need to know much more, like how you can understand people's offline behavior, how you can connect their behavior from online to offline. So actually, I think it's a reversed journey for designers as well.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Can we go to the next slide here? You, I know, are concerned that design, although it's very modern and especially as it's combined with technology, that it not sweep away the best of the tradition, what's traditional and old.
Right. Yeah. If you look at the three pictures on the left, that's Beijing's old city wall. It's not a Great Wall. Great Wall is far from the city. Beijing used to have the longest, and personally, I think that's the most beautiful city walls in the world. And on the right is Beijing now, right? It's pretty much like every other metropolitan city in the world. And as the economy is growing, a lot of traditions are fading, like the city walls are all gone. And there are also some other problems like pollution and the gap between the rich and the poor. So I think change is good, and designers often said design is to change the world, right? That's very encouraging. I think it encourages a lot of designers to participate in this internet revolution. But I also want to raise this question, is change always good? Or even if the change is good, what if there's some side effect, like the pollution, the traditions are fading? So I encourage my designers to think more about their social responsibility, what broader impact you can bring to the society.
Yeah. You mentioned that China is really now at this moment where it's really discovering design, where it's moving from kind of made in China to created in China.
Yes.
And that you're planning to try to galvanize that interest at Alibaba Group. Do you want to tell us briefly about this conference that you're organizing in April to sort of raise the profile of design?
Yeah, we are having a UCAN conference in Alibaba, and we are inviting more than 2,000 designers from all over China to Alibaba. And what we want to announce is that designers' role is totally changed in this fast-moving economy. And you are no longer like visual or interaction designers or user experience designers anymore. The designer's canvas has never been so broad because we are covering people's life through every single touch point. Yeah.
Here's a great example. Let's see if we can move to this next slide.
Yeah.
This ant forest.
Yes.
Of how China embracing design can have tremendous social impact.
Right.
You want to explain to us a little bit about how this is set up?
Ant Forest pretty much is a mini game within Alipay. Any user can engage with to reduce their carbon footprint. Basically, like whenever you perform any online or offline carbon reducing activity, you get what we call green energy points. Like you walk to work, pay your bills online, taking bikes instead of cars, you get this green energy point. And as you accumulate enough green energy point, Ant Financial will plant a real tree for you. And the result is astounding. By the end of last year, more than 280 million users joined Ant Forest.
Wow.
And we planted over 13 million trees. And the carbon reducing is about, if I remember the number correctly, 2 million tons.
So that's what you can do when you have 500 million users all signed up, right?
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
That also connects to my philosophy about designer's role is not just about design thinking, design methodology, right? We really need to think more about our social responsibility. And with this platform, with so many users, what we can do is much, much more, not just ourselves, but also from our users.
Yeah. Can we jump maybe to the some of these others? Let's see.
Oh, this one is a satellite image of the Ant Forest, like the before and after.
The before and after is that one, huh? Oh no, this is a different one.
Yeah, this is New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So explain to us. This is one of the really fascinating ways in which design has interacted with technology to kind of create this new way of social interaction in China. The Hongbao, except it's digital.
Right. Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah, it's already becoming very, very conventional in China at this moment, because like people used to hand out the red envelope, the Hongbao, during Chinese New Year, and now they all use digital.
So the red envelopes have money inside.
Money inside. During Chinese New Year, you give it to people to indicate good luck. And but this one I want to talk about is that like this tradition, like Fu, the Chinese character Fu, indicating fortune and luck. People used to print it out or write it down and then put it on their walls and windows and doors. During Chinese New Year. And as I said, like a lot of traditions are fading, and people think, okay, our Chinese New Year is more and more like Western festival, is no longer have this old school smell. Yeah. So, so this Wufu project is that we allow users to scan any Fu, like whether it's written or it's printed out, and once they collect 5 Fu cards, we give them a little red envelope during Chinese New Year's Eve. And you can even scan in your friend's face. And the last one, like the Fu card is coming. So during this project, actually, I encourage my designers to think how we can bring traditions back with some modern twist. So my designers studied a lot of the traditional Chinese art, like the folding fans, paper cutting, calligraphy, painting, and did a lot of great visuals for this project. And if you can go to the next one, the Wufu gift box. Yeah, it's fabulous. It looks really great. And there's actually, when we design this box, we tell our users that once you get this Chinese 对联 out and put it on your wall and use the red envelope, the box, you can buy some gift and put it inside, and Alipay will cover the delivery fee, and it will send to the rural area. And if you can click to the next one, the rural area's children, like with less educational resources, they got the gift, like the perfect Chinese New Year gift from our users.
Incredible. That's an amazing matchup of design and technology. We got a little bit of time. Questions from the floor, anyone? Over here, can we get a mic? Tell us your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Vincent with 1+1. One of the conversations I'm having recently with a friend.
Stand up so we can see you, Vincent.
One of the conversations I was having recently with a friend in Hong Kong was, why is it that we don't see in a lot of international conferences a lot of Chinese speakers on stage and talking about all the very innovative case studies and solutions that they're coming up with, especially given the obvious presence of China these days. Obviously, Alibaba has major global ambitions that are very much aligned to China's ambitions as well, too. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges for Alibaba in translating some of the Chinese models of success overseas?
Yeah, that's a perfect question, and that's the first question. That's exactly why I'm here. like from this year, we formed this committee within Ant Financial. We have this design committee, and within the whole Alibaba umbrella, we have Alibaba Design Committee. And to answer your question, first of all, before there's of course this language barrier, right? But from this year, we think, okay, in order for Alibaba and Ant Financial to go international, we have to connect with the International Design Committee. That's why I'm here. That's why tomorrow I'm taking the flight to South by Southwest. So it's changing, and you will see lots of more Chinese designers on the international stage. So that's the first question. So for the second question, the challenges, right? Yeah. So. For Ant Financial, we have our own agenda. Like we will partner with local companies, like the financial services companies, to target the local market. But it's the same question as like the international companies. When they want to go to China, they need to understand the user, they need to understand the culture, and there are a lot of challenges. I think the challenges is the same. So right now, we are partner with local partners to target the local market. Yeah.
Shanying, Ant Financial named after a very small creature, but we expect big things from both you and from China.
Thank you very much.
You'll come back again to Brainstorm Design next year.
Yeah, definitely I will. It's such a great event. Thank you.